Yes, what you're looking at are M Insulators. They were a telegraph insulator that were manufactured in San Francisco between 1870 and arguably 1877, but probably longer. The name of the company that produced them is the Electrical Construction and Maintenance Company. They were located at 134 Sutter Street in San Francisco. The president is rather famous in his own right, George Ladd. Now, these insulators were the workhorse of the West in the 1870s. They've been called the Hemingway 42 of the 1870s out here in the West. Now, bottle collectors especially like EC&Ms because they exemplify not only the historical aspects of people coming west and the migration, but just about every color, Western color you see in bottles, you'll see in EC&M insulators. And another interesting thing about EC&M insulators is the lack of reference material. Maybe it was lost during the 1906 earthquake. We're not sure. But it's, I think, noteworthy that a lot is known about the EC&Ms through the folks finding them on the telegraph lines out here in the West. Because most of the time, the telegraph lines have more historical documentation than the EC&Ms that were used. But because the folks that found them know where they found them, what line they found them, we can look at those mold styles and colors and pretty much estimate when they were produced. Now, I haven't collected insulators for a long time. I started in 1965 and only collected for just a few months, and got into bottles and bottle hunting and pretty much collected bottles until 3 years ago, and actually bought my first insulator from Dwayne Anthony in April of 2009 at the Rhodey Ranch Tailgater. And I've just been fortunate enough to have good friends that have helped me put together a really nice collection. Now, some of these do have some notoriety. Okay, let's take a look at 5 of these EC&Ms. And the first one we're looking at is a olive amber. And these come from a line out between Austin and Battle Mountain, Nevada. And in fact, a lot of them are known as Battle Mountain EC&Ms. And the notoriety on those is they usually come from this olive green you're looking at with some amber all the way to almost a pure amber. Now, the one next to it is a Midnight A mold. You can see the flare skirt on it, and that's a very rare color. There's only a few Midnight EC&Ms known. And this was actually found in an old 1906 dump site from the earthquake by bottle diggers a few years ago. Very extraordinary color for an EC&M. Then next to it is the upside down EC&M. And so far as EC&M collecting goes, this is the pinnacle piece for an EC&M collection. They're very rare, probably the first EC&Ms produced. Then, of course, the embossing is upside down. Now, 3 of these have been found in California and 4 up in British Columbia. And just the color alone, that beautiful light emerald, is extraordinary in itself. Then next to it is what's known as an Arizona blue. Now, this electric light blue is just a color all its own, and it's found on a line near Fort Yuma in Arizona. And very few of these are known in near mint condition. And then lastly, we see a good example of an olive green A mold, and this came from a gentleman, Bernard Parks, who a lot of folks don't know about. He collected a lot of everything actually, and sold EC&M legend Glenn Yost a lot of EC&Ms. And I was fortunate enough to get this from my friend Richard Siri, who knew the Parks family. And those are just 5 out of this collection that I think are noteworthy, and appreciate you listening to me talk about them.